to the KQ Morning Show.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, 6:50, 10 minutes till 7 o'clock at KQRS. I look up at my screen right now, and there I see the Mike Lindell story, An American Dream. A big shot. You didn't tell me you won an NRB award. Why don't you tell me that?
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that was awesome. I didn't expect it. It was the presidential award, and I had yeah, that was pretty awesome. It was about all the national religious broadcasters, and that was a surprise.
Yeah, it was a surprise to me because you didn't tell me.
I forgot. Sorry, Tom.
I forgot. I was talking to Mike yesterday, schmoozing a little bit about this, that, and the other thing, and you mentioned that there's a guy that gets to hang out with you today that a few people have heard of, and he got a break in his life, and now he gets to hang out with Mike Lindell. And who is that again?
That was the vice president. I was actually with him last night. I had a meeting with him for about a half hour. That was pretty awesome. And then today we're doing a panel at the Minneapolis Convention Center. It's tax cuts to put America first, and I'm on the panel there today speaking. And I believe it's open to the public. It's going to be. I'm just about there now.
That's amazing. So you're just about to arrive now. Now, who's on the panel with you?
There's three other guys, and I'm not even sure. I know Eric Paulson's one of them. Okay. And then there are other two, and then the vice president is coming in to speak at the for I don't know, half hour or so.
So who's more exciting to hang out? Who's more exciting to hang out with, me or the vice president?
Tom. Well, I know you better, and we have a lot deeper conversations.
Well, there you go. There you have it. It's a pretty amazing story for maybe first-time listeners. The Mike Lindell story, An American Dream, is a documentary about how Mike Lindell, despite extreme money issues, drug addictions, and adversity, creates fame and fortune from his idea for a pillow and becomes the American success story. I'm sitting at home last night, I'm watching television, and I'm looking at the screen, and there's Mike Lindell walking backwards carrying one of his My Pillows, and my phone rings, and it's Mike Lindell. I'm like, good God, I'm surrounded. That's the vice president. We were talking, and he goes, I got a lot of media out there. He was very proud of all the 1,600 employees here in Minnesota, and my company and how we're doing, and all the things we're doing for the addictions and the recovery network I'm working on. And so it's pretty surreal for me. They actually they were doing a story yesterday at my factory touring, and these guys that from the media were asking, they go, what is it like? Sometimes I said, sometimes it's like living in a dream, No pun intended. No, I can see that. You're hanging out with the vice president. You're doing this. I don't know anybody that doesn't know you or talk to you or whatever, to go from, again, as I said, money issues and drug addictions and adversity. It's pretty much the American dream story. And I hope people learn by listening to this that you should never give up. No matter what it is, don't ever give up. Keep trying, because you can do it. You can make it. Just keep trying. Keep working. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a buddy with me that I grew up with, and he's in the truck right now, and I said, did you ever think back in the day we'd be doing this?
No, probably not.
No, that was the furthest thing from my mind. One of the things I want to mention, Tom, is we've got the thing I'm working on is a recovery network for where addicts, we're getting all these stories of hope like mine, and we're going to get them videotaped. We're collecting them now, like 200,000 of them. And so if you're an addict, you'll be able to go put in your drug that you're using and how old you are. And then you're going to have all these stories of hope come down where you can watch them and see how they got through it. How did they get through it? And then I'm going to have on there where you're going to reach out to get help. So I'm very excited about that.
It's really interesting because you and I talked about this within the last month or so. I've had two people contact me to talk about the fact that they'd like to, either give up this or that or whatever. And not like I'm an expert on it,
But I explained to them while I was talking to them about maybe they want to give up drinking or maybe they want to stop doing drugs or whatever. I said, you have to understand something. By calling me, you're helping me as well. You know, you realize you share stories with other people. And it's not just about, addiction. It's about life itself. But you calling me, these two guys calling me to talk about, or maybe get advice or what should I do? Right. I said, you have to understand, I'm not helping you. You're helping me with this deal. And I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Tom. Mentoring is helping. So many people, the drug and the alcohol world, shame has been a big thing. So people that get through it, they don't, a lot of times they don't want to bring it up. Oh, we're already, I got through it. I don't want to talk about it. But you know what? To keep strong and stuff, mentoring other people, it does help, and it is amazing. There's nothing to be ashamed about. Everybody has wounds from childhood and stuff, and you end up masking it with addictions or whatever, and to help someone else get through it, it's so rewarding, and it's just a blessing to help other people.
Now, can anybody attend today's meeting?
Yeah, yep. You can go online and register and come on down. I believe it starts at 9:30. It's America First Policy. It's America First Policy. Register. If you put America's First Policy, or I think you can put it. Just Google Mike Pence. Let's see. You put in AmericaFirstPolicies.org. AmericaFirstPolicies.org, and there, this panel is going to be on how the tax cuts have affected businesses here in Minnesota, and how it's going to be a good. I think it's going to be a good thing. I've got a couple of things I'm going to say. I know it's helped my employees. I was doing a lot of that stuff already anyway, but for them now to be able to, I pass the pass-through entities out here in business, and to be able to pass it on to your employees is it's something I've been doing anyway, but I can do it even in a bigger way. I told you, Tom, we create careers at My Pillow, not just jobs.
No question. I didn't know you were a ventriloquist. You were speaking in two different voices there. That was pretty cool.
Oh, is that right?
You were going, it's called, yes, it's called that. The only employee of My Pillow that's upset with me still to this day is Dawn Curtis, because the last time you were on, I gave her away her entire yearly salary, so she didn't care for that much, but,
Right. She said you promised her lunch when you come back from Florida. She said you promised her lunch. She just told me that this morning.
Yeah, I have to take her out. I have 8 more days on the Nutrimost program, and then I'm gonna take her out to lunch. Definitely, she's terrific. Now, what's her title there again? Isn't she like King of the World or something?
Yeah, she's got a lot of titles. We have her doing so many different things. She's got one of those people that have like 5 business cards.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, Mike, have a great time today sitting on the panel. Anybody can come, and again, that web address, what is it again?
It's for AmericaFirstPolicies.org.
America First Policies.
And it's at the Minneapolis Convention Center.
All right, well, don't get nervous up there with the vice president, because you're a bigger deal than he is.
Oh, come on, Tom.
Yeah, what the hell. Mike, always a pleasure to have you on. Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks. It's always an honor. Thanks, Tom. Yeah.
Have a great day. Mike Lindell from My Pillow, of course. Chris, if you've never heard his story, and Michelle joins us now as well.
Hi.
That guy was a flat-out crack addict. I mean, flat out. Yes.
Wow.
I mean, he was dead broke, deeply in debt, a crack addict. He was so paranoid. He's staring out through the curtains because he always thought somebody was coming to get him. But one of the greatest things of all time, we're having dinner a while back, and there are a couple of people that didn't know Mike very well. And Catherine says, well, Mike has an amazing story. I mean, Mike Lindell, he owns My Pillow now, and he used to be a meth addict, and goes, I wasn't a meth addict, I was a crack addict.
There you go.
He spends all of his time now, and Mike and I have become very good friends because he spends all of his time now. I mean, he has to run a company, yes, but he focuses on helping other people so much. It's really, I'm proud to have him as a friend. He's a good friend.
Tom, next time he comes on, and or maybe or I'd love to hear from him, when somebody comes from where he came from, and all of a sudden he does have money, and whether it's the buying of the house to signify it, a car, whatever it might be, there's a moment when he knows he has money. But I ask people who all of a sudden get money when they come from that, you're still looking over your shoulder. You know, I don't know if at any point he got comfortable, but there are people who've never had it, who go crazy and buy everything. There are other people who go, I go to bed every night wondering, please, God, praying that it doesn't happen again. I don't end up back in that spot. And that's what drives people crazy. There's a guilt that sometimes comes with this that these people have to get over for a while.
I think you're 100% right. 100% correct, as a matter of fact. So, Michelle, what are you up to?
I'm just listening to that and you know, being kind of inspired. And it's interesting how you said that when people come to you and they ask you that you get something out of that.
Oh, it's huge for me. It really is. It's huge. First of all, it's an honor that they would call me. It's not like I'm an expert on all of these different problems, but it's an honor that they would call me in the first place, whether, you know, they're an old friend or somebody I just met or somebody I worked with or whatever. The fact that they would call me for advice, it's good for me. It helps me as well. It keeps me focused on things. And I hope we've gotten past that point where people, maybe they booze it up too much, or maybe they're addicted to drugs or whatever. I hope we're past that shaming phase of society, because it doesn't do anybody any good to shame somebody. I mean, look, you want to shame people who are in the media. You know, radio, television is terrible.
Or the bane of everyone's existence.
No, because you realize, because once in a while, if you've been down that road, and you're by yourself, let's say you wake up in the middle of the night and you're by yourself, and that does occur to you, you know, your past and all the rest of it, and you kind of feel like you're the only person in the world that's been down that road. So when you get a call from somebody else, you go, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
And look, I don't attend meetings or anything like that, and I'm not saying people shouldn't. I don't. That's not the route I take. But I will tell you this: the best thing I ever took from Health Recovery Center was literally living your life one day at a time. I think that's good for everybody, not just, you know, alcoholics or drug addicts or whatever you are. Because again, my problem was more an anger problem than it was an alcohol problem. It just, the alcohol brought the anger out right to the surface. I will tell you that. It came up right to the surface. So I think it's just a good idea to live your life one day at a time, and I'm still so damn dumb that sometimes I don't do it.
Well,
and
what
I get
does
ahead
it mean
of myself.
exactly? Because when people hear that, they think, okay, so you don't plan? You don't plan for that? What does it mean?
No, that's not it. It's more about ruminating and worrying about things that might happen that you don't know how the outcome of some things. I think growing up the way I did, and my mother was this way as well, I always assume things are going to turn out for the worst. I don't know. I always assume no matter what it is, it's going to turn out for the worst, and I'm usually right. But anyway, no. But is that just a human thing, or is that the way I grew up, or what is that?
I don't know. I think it's probably a combination. If your mom was like that, then it doesn't surprise me that you followed that. My
mother, seriously, when I became successful, doing voiceover first, you know, a nice radio run, no doubt about it. But then I started doing voiceover and doing very, you know, well, and all the rest of it. Her major thought, the first thought that hit her was, I hope you don't die.
Oh,
seriously, because she kind of like, Elvis was her big hero. She loved Elvis because he was a very poor kid that made it big. And then he died at 42 years old. So any success that came my way, my mother was always concerned. She literally said to me, "Don't die like Elvis." That's what she did. I mean, it's very sweet now and very cute when you look at it now, but it's a different way of growing up. It's completely different than most people. And I think that's why I will never buy that line, "Oh, we're all the same." No, we're not.
No, we're not.
We're not even close to being all the same. And we're never going to get to be all the same. People have different lives, and they handle them differently. People are very, very different. Some people are morons. Some people are bad people. Well, they are. I'm sorry. They are. A lot of people are very good people. There are a lot of smart people. Who would want to be all the same? You want to march lockstep with everybody else on Earth?
That's what some people are working toward, you know. Yeah, I know. I
hate that. Hey, listen, this is Tom on the radio here for you, 92 KQRS. I'm not doing that. Ugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, I think, like that phrase, you know, life should be fair. Hey, if life were fair, we'd all look like, you know, we'd all have Gisele Bundchen's body. We'd all have, you know, think of someone intelligent's brains. We'd all, and young kids would never get sick and die.
I'm really glad that nobody came up when they thought of intelligence, like, well, you know, people you work with, or, you know, I'm glad that nobody came up. That's really nice. And by the way, thank you so much. You've ruined my day, because I just pictured my head on Gisele Bundchen's body. So, thanks so much for that. But yeah, no, it's absolutely true. And there are women that get offended by this. I find all women to be pretty because women have beautiful eyes. I have very, you know, unless, of course, they're raging alkies or something and they're all bloodshot. But I find women's eyes to be beautiful. And some women get offended by that. It's like, what? How is that negative in any way, shape, or form? I'm not judging you.
I don't know.
People are weird. I don't get it. Makes no sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
That's not to say that, you know, like Domino and Lastman don't have pretty eyes, too.
I was going to say.
Thank you for noticing. Thank you for noticing.
You don't find them attractive?
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Beautiful?
Hypnotic.
Hypnotic is good.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It is an honor, and it really helps me when people reach out and say, "Hey, Tom, first of all, asking you for advice would imply that you know what the hell you're talking about, which is kind of an honor in and of itself, right?"
Well, you succeeded.
I like
you succeeded.
Tom, I think the other part is that you show up every day. You know, I think people are nervous. People, you know, that whole idea of one day at a time, and you hear that over. Okay, how does that work? Well, you show up for work every day. You've talked about what plagued you, and you show up for work every day, and you provide. And I think if people are looking for a little bit of a rope, if people are looking for a little bit of a moment of, okay, can I? Mm-hmm. I think the idea that there's stability in people who actually succeed in getting themselves better, those are the people you're supposed to gravitate to.
Yeah, we had a woman on the podcast this week. Her name is Kate Genovese. Nice Italian woman, Kate Genovese, whose 30-year-old son overdosed. He got hooked on painkillers. He was a hockey player. A lot of injuries. And she was away with her sister. She was at her sister's house, and she got a call from her daughter that said, her daughter told her that her son had died. And she wrote a book about it. And I talked to her for 10 minutes. And the sadness that woman is going through it just happened about 18 months ago.
Oh, my gosh.
But the first thing she did was she wanted to tell the world the story because she thought it might help somebody else. It's too late for her son, unfortunately. But she tried to help other people. The sweetest woman in the world. Just this nice Italian mom, you know. It's, hey, life could be a hell of a lot worse than our lives or anybody's life that's listening right now. So, which is cool. I think that's a wonderful thing. So you go from being a broke crack addict staring out from behind a curtain to sitting down with the Vice President of the United States to talk about how can we help drug addicts.
And not forgetting where you came from.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
How did he do it, Tom? How did he overcome his drug addiction? Do you know?
He has dreams. That's the one thing that Mike and I have in common is I dream a lot about things, and he had a dream about inventing a pillow because he couldn't sleep. It's really hard to sleep, I suppose, if you're addicted to crack. Yeah. You're not going to get much sleep anyway. So sleep was very, very important to him, and he had a dream that he invented a pillow, and it's pretty interesting. And he in his dreams or series of dreams, he dreamed that he invented a pillow that everyone would love, and then he dreamt that he and I would meet up, and I would help him sell his pillows. And, I mean, he had all these dreams. It's really interesting. Maybe sometime we'll have him in studio and he could talk about his dreams. They're very vivid. And all it is basically is just his brain working while he's asleep, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, he literally, he dreams things and then he gets to work on them and makes them happen. It's pretty cool, actually.
It's just amazing how you could be that in debt and that addicted and come out of it the way he has. It's remarkable.
He gives a lot of credit to a man whose last day, I believe, is Friday. Don Imus is retiring from the radio. Don Imus was one of my inspirations as a young teenage boy, a legendary radio announcer. If you've never heard him, he's been in New York for many, many years. I think he's from Cleveland, Ohio, originally. But I've never talked to Don Imus myself, but Mike Lindell knows him really well because Don Imus believed in his pillow, and you know, when the sales were going up and down and up and down at the very beginning, Don Imus was always the one that said, no, this is a great product and you should absolutely use it. I am saddened by the news that Don Imus is retiring. He is 77 years old, so he deserves to retire, you know. Yeah. Radio guys sometimes do work late into their 70s. But what was it called, John? 500 Hamburgers? That album that Don Imus released?
1,300 Hamburgers, I think.
1,300 Hamburgers, okay.
They just did a great, 15-minute piece on his retirement on the CBS Sunday Morning Show with Jane Pauley. I think you can find it online. But
excellent.
He's still funny, and he's said things in the past decade that got him in a little hot water.
Yeah. Well, he's been fired a few times and then brought back. Yeah. Was he in California, and that was a McDonald's? He tried to order 1,300 burgers, and that was the thing that everybody says basically got him to New York.
That's right. I think that's exactly right.
How did that get him to New York? I'm sorry.
They recorded it. It was sort of like a phone.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the call of the day, but back in those days, you got a record deal out of it, and RCA Records put it out. So he became this national thing, and I think NBC picked him up in New York.
Yeah, I think it was NBC. I think you're absolutely right about that. But here, there's a guy, he did things. Look, there are people, and the top two people that come to my mind that were inspired by Don Imus. One of us will admit it, and the other one won't. Mm-hmm. Howard Stern definitely was inspired by Don Imus. They ended up hating each other. Yeah, it's 1,200 Hamburgers to go. That's the name of it, 1,200 Hamburgers. Don Imus changed radio forever. And Don Imus works for this company for another 3 days, today, tomorrow, and Friday. I believe Friday's his last day. He works for Cumulus, the same company that owns this radio station. And I'm happy and sad to see him go. I'm happy for him because he had this magnificent career from start to finish. And he inspired the hell out of me. I don't know. When did 1,200 Hamburgers even come out? Was that in the late 60s, early 70s? When was that?
Early 70s. When I lived in New York City going to college in 82 through 84, Don Imus ruled Morning Drive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Owned it.
No doubt.
I'll tell you how powerful he was, because I grew up there, too. When FAN, which is considered the first full-time sports talk station.
There was, yeah.
They kept him on in the morning.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do sports in the morning.
Right.
But I will tell you another thing, and I found this out from a mutual friend, maybe Mike Lindell, maybe. After the Rutgers incident, in which he referred to them as nappy-headed hoes, as a joke, he got fired for it. Mm-hmm. And he realized he had made a mistake. He didn't mean to insult anyone, or he was just being a radio guy. Something occurred to him, and he said it. He didn't mean to harm anyone. It's just how radio works. What top of mind, whatever's top of mind, as they say, what comes up, comes out. That's how it worked, right? Well, people don't know this part. Maybe it was on the CBS Sunday Morning thing. Maybe they brought it up. But after he realized he had made a huge mistake, he got fired for it, and he went and spent 5 hours with the Rutgers women's basketball team to apologize.
Yeah.
So did they bring that up on?
They did.
Oh, yeah, they showed
okay.
video of him leaving the
house.
meeting. He said 4.5, 5 hours, and it was one of his few regrets.
Yep, one of his few regrets in his career.
Of saying that. Although he did throw Paul Harvey under the bus. That was pretty funny.
Did he really? I didn't see that. What did he do?
He said, hey, no, the only one that's won more Marconi Awards than me is Paul Harvey. And what'd he do, 2 minutes a day on the radio? Come on.
Worked till he was 92 years old, by the way.
Yeah.
I believe Paul Harvey he might have been older than 92, actually, but Paul Harvey, good day.
Good day? Yeah.
He was another one, honestly. He, actually, when son Paul, they tried to do it with his son, but I don't think his son's heart was ever in it. So they reached out to other people and talked about it. And actually, I was honored. They called me to talk to me a short bit about it. But you do not want to replace Paul Harvey.
No.
That's
no,
not
never
a good
follow.
idea.
Yeah, never follow the guy.
It's like, nah, boy, look at the time. I'd love to lose.
Yeah, you want to be the guy after the guy who followed the guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's the way that works. He did mention Wolfman Jack, by the way, as being, again, if he was going to do his Mount Rushmore, he did say Stern, and he said a lot of people will be surprised by that because, whatever,
Stern
their relationship. But he said Wolfman Jack as well.
Wolfman Jack, I did have the opportunity to meet one time, and that was back when I was a nighttime disc jockey. The last one just loves to embarrass me by playing. But I met Wolfman Jack, and he walks up and he goes, "Catman, I love you, man, but you're stealing my act." And then he unfortunately died shortly after that. Wolfman Jack did not live a healthy life. I will tell you that. Wolfman Jack.
I was trying to remember how did he die? Was it just?
Well, he used to like to abuse certain substances.
I see.
No doubt about it. One of the nicest guys you'd ever want to meet. Just a great guy and an inspiration. And if there's ever a Mount Rushmore of radio announcers, absolutely, Wolfman Jack would be on that list. No doubt about it.
What was his era? Like, when did he start? Is he in the 50s?
50s, yeah. 50s and 60s. And, American Graffiti.
Yeah.
Blew him up huge.
Right.
He was working at a radio station in Mexico that had, what was it again, like 500,000 watts, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, that's the whole thing in American Graffiti. The transmitter was in Mexico, but the studios were in California. So Richard Dreyfuss walks into the studio.
And you think it's going to be this big sort of palatial Oz type place.
Yep.
That's the whole hook. And then, I guess he beamed literally across the continent.
He did. Yeah, apparently he did. Wonderful, very, very entertaining. And actually, I don't know what happened to it, and I wish I still had it. And it's got to be out there somewhere. But Wolfman Jack did. Remember the Guess Who did a song, Clap for the Wolfman? Remember that song, Clap for the Wolfman?
He gonna rate your record high.
Yep. They did a version of that. Wolfman Jack did a version of that for me. The intro, and there's a part in the middle where he says, "Catman, I love you, but you're stealing my act." And I don't know what the hell I did with it. I don't know where it is. I don't know if it exists anywhere, but I wish I could find it because it was fantastic. It was wonderful. Hopkins Health and Wellness bringing you more of the KQ Morning Show. Hopkins Health and Wellness and their certified DMR clinics now has 5 locations. Go to dmrmethod.com to see how they can help you with your back pain and schedule a free consultation today. Dr. Pete Lallier, Hopkins Health and Wellness, bringing you more of the KQ Morning Show. Pink Floyd on KQ.